All right, week one. Let's get into it. We're going to set some goals. Probably the most important thing you can possibly do in this program. And if you do nothing past this week, this is probably one of the most important things you can do in your life. So I have a free goal setting guide that I have already sent out a while back, and I had quite a few people look at it. And so if you have this already, fantastic, congratulations. I will always give this away because it is that important. So just have a little read through the bits and pieces, but I'm going to go through what's going to be more specifically important to us for our nutrition challenge. Our first task, this is task number one, would be to, as it says, define your North Star. What do we want to get out of this program? And so we have 10 weeks. And let's say you're looking for weight loss, for example, something in the realms of 5 kilos might be a good starting point, right? Considering our program doesn't start off 100%, I think that's a pretty decent goal. Most of the progress you will make from this program will actually be after the program, considering all your habits are built in. So that if that is my goal, okay, that's actually a really crappy goal. Really what that is that's a target. So that's when I have my goal in mind, let's say I want to lose 5 kilos, then my target is actually I want to lose 5 kilos. And my goal should be the action steps it takes to get me there. Have a little read of chapter 2. In this one, we basically says that if I want to lose 5 kilos, my goal is to eat my protein intakes. I'm going to follow my tasks to the best of my ability every single day and do the following ABC things that we can look at. So it's relatively simple. Instead of making the goal, lose 5 kilos, the goal now is actually the task of the day. So each day I can succeed at my goal, and success builds on success. So we want to start off with setting our target, whatever the target is, the goal, and then I'm going to take my action steps, and they're my real goals to get me into the next phase. Now, the fun part, I can write and do all that anytime I want, but how do we do it consistently every day? And here's where the fun begins. So we can continuously rewrite our goals, and I suggest we do that every single week. We're going to rewrite our goals. Handwritten, there's something about writing it down on hand. Task number two. So task number one was find target. Task number 2, we don't specifically have our action steps yet, but we'll just say follow habits. And then task number 3, here's where we're going to get into a few things. So the first thing we want to do is write down our goal on paper with a pen. Post-it note works really well. I've got a ton of them at the gym if you want some. Stick it on something. I'll give you a whole packet and you can write a new one every single day. Write it in a different color every day. Make it as different as possible. Put it in a different spot. At the end of each week, we're going to make sure that the lowest hanging fruit is going to be rewritten on our goal. So let's say, for example, week number 1, my goal is to measure my protein, and my protein is fine. Okay, I hit my target goals compared to what I want. So week number 2 is just hit my protein goals. So maybe week number 2 might want to be make sure my goal is in the front of my mind, or keep that really refined, or whatever it may be. So I want to make sure that the biggest overarching one and the program is set up in order of hierarchy. So the most important thing will start first. So if one's ever struggling, we always fall back to the previous one. Another task would be to send a photo of your goal, handwritten, into your little group. That's the goal, not the target, the goal. So remember, the goal is what you're going to do each day. The target is the result at the end. Okay, now in your welcome email, it would have said you want a stuffed toy. And here's a fun little tip you can do. If you live at home with anybody else, especially kids are perfect for this. What I want you to do is to grab a teddy. I have a giraffe here because giraffe starts with G, and G is about goals. And I'm going to ask my children to hide my giraffe each morning, make a habit out of it, or each time I see them. And this is a representation of I am actively working towards my goals by finding my giraffe. So if you have a friend in your house who can play along, ask them at nighttime to, hey, can you go hide my goals giraffe or my goals teddy somewhere, and I will go find it. And just make a little game out of it, make it a bit novel. Tell them to hide it somewhere different every day. And what this does is just reinforces or pulls forward your goal into the front of your mind. You don't have to write anything on your teddy. You'll have that on a post-it note somewhere or a piece of paper. But if each morning I wake up and my kids, I go, hey, I need you to hide the giraffe, and they go and hide it, and I go, yes, I've found it, then I have a bit of a self-commitment. I've started off the day successful, finding my goals, and I'm going to work towards that. And I have a nice teddy here, so I highly recommend that. In your groups, send me a photo of what you're going to hide around the house, and then all the interesting places you can find it. Now, if we open chapter 4 on the goals thing, you can see there's a few things in here that are actually very, very useful. So we have our quantifiable metrics. We're going to use our in-body scan and our habit tracking to look at that. So that one's pretty much covered in our course. That's kind of what you're paying for. We have our motivation management. This was a big one. This will be easy in the first few weeks. So just as you're looking for your toy in the morning, or you're rewriting your goal or moving your post-it note somewhere, I just want you to take a mental check-in and think, where are you positive or are you currently negative about this goal? If you are feeling positive about this goal, then as you're looking for your teddy, think about the result at the end and how amazing that will be, and how proud I will be and everyone will be of you and of yourself. If you're not feeling unmotivated, as crazy as this sounds, you need to think about how bad you're going to feel at the end if you didn't do it. So you need to bring that future, I wouldn't say shame is the right word, but future guilt forward to the now, so it can kickstart you away from that. So these things are going to happen 100%. Some days I'm not motivated, some days I am motivated, but I just use if I feel good, excellent, it's going to be awesome at the end. And if I don't feel good and I just throw all it out the window, then that's not really going to be much fun at the end as well. So make sure you think about what's going to happen in the future. There's a little hack here. The task focus hack is, if you're really struggling to get any motivation, just literally find something on the wall, like a leaf, a flower, a watch, and just stare at it for 60 to 90 seconds. This focus will just ramp up some of your nervous systems and get you motivated to do the thing at hand, which is much more, probably less boring than just staring at the wall. Cool, so we have our reward system where we're going to use our weekly pinwheel to see whether you get rewarded for completing your task or not. You can't always get rewarded because then the reward's not valuable, so we're going to use a bit of a random fun little game to work with that. We have the middle problem, so we've kind of put exercise in the middle there so we can focus on things that aren't quite nutrition based, but still help with hunger signaling. So just a little built into the program. And then there's the circadian rhythm hack there that is not really relevant to us today, just a bit of fun. Cool, so if you do have that guide and you want to just go through the program yourself, there's a take action guide at the end where you can have a read through that and do everything yourself. But if you are in the program, then we have a few things we need to do. We need to find our target, find our habits, send a photo of our goals to our small groups. Once we have them organized at the end of this week, we'll have that all organized. Yep. So get through those action steps and let me know how you go. Cheers.